Wealth is built from identity, not income. And the moment you truly understand this, your entire relationship with success begins to shift. Most people spend their lives chasing numbers, chasing salaries, chasing the illusion that a certain amount of money will suddenly transform them into the person they've always wanted to be. But the truth is, you don't become wealthy when the money appears. You become wealthy when you become the kind of person capable of creating, sustaining, and multiplying that value long before the money ever shows up. Identity is the root. Income is the fruit. And too many people are watering the leaves while the roots remain weak, confused, or neglected. When you base your sense of worth on what you earn instead of who you are, you put your entire future in the hands of circumstances you can't control. Markets shift. Jobs disappear. Economies crash. Opportunities rise and fall. But identity, true identity, the identity you consciously shape, refine, and reinforce with discipline and purpose, is the one thing you carry into every environment, every season, every challenge. Wealth built from identity is indestructible because it's not built on external rewards. It's built on internal foundations that no one can take from you. Think about the people you admire. The ones who create extraordinary results again and again, no matter how many times they fail, no matter how many obstacles they face. What separates them isn't luck or timing or some magical advantage. It's that their identity is aligned with growth, contribution, resilience, and possibility. They see themselves as creators, as problem solvers, as leaders. They don't wait for permission to rise. They rise because rising is who they believe they are. That identity fuels their actions. And those actions generate outcomes that compound over time into what the world calls wealth. But the wealth was there long before the world noticed it. It began in the internal decision. This is who I am. The moment you say, I am resourceful, I am capable, I am disciplined, I am committed, I am a creator, value, you rewrite the rules of your life. And those aren't just affirmations. They are instructions to your mind. Your brain is designed to follow the identity you claim. If you see yourself as limited, you act in limited ways. If you see yourself as powerful, you take powerful actions. Identity shapes behavior, behavior shapes results, and results shape destiny. This is why two people can earn the same income but live completely different lives. One feels rich because their identity is grounded in gratitude, purpose, and mastery. The other feels poor because their identity is built on comparison, fear, and scarcity. Income without identity is fragile. Identity without income is potential. Identity with aligned action becomes wealth. When your sense of self is strong enough, your income naturally expands to match it because you begin operating from a higher standard. You hold yourself accountable in ways others don't. You stop tolerating habits that drain your time and energy. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop viewing challenges as threats and start seeing them as invitations to grow. You stop thinking like a consumer and begin thinking like a creator. You stop focusing on what you lack and start using what you have in ways that compound. Shifting identity is not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about removing the layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning that have kept you from stepping into who you truly are. You weren't born with limiting beliefs. They were handed to you by society, experience, and repetition. You were taught to equate wealth with money, success with status, confidence with achievement. But real wealth has always been the ability to shape your life from the inside out. When you change your identity, you change what you believe is possible. And when you expand what you believe is possible, you step into behaviors and opportunities that once felt out of reach. Identity-driven wealth is sustainable because it doesn't crumble under pressure. When you build wealth on income alone, the moment income stops, fear begins. But when wealth is built on identity, even in seasons where finances fluctuate, the foundation remains unshaken. You know you can rebuild, recreate, redirect, and rise again because that is who you are. This is why some people bounce back from failure stronger than before. They didn't just build a bank account, they built a self. And that self is the engine that keeps producing results. The mistake most people make is thinking they need money to become who they want to be. The reality is the opposite. You become who you want to be first, and then the money comes. Identity alters decisions. Decisions alter habits. Habits alter trajectory. And trajectory determines destiny. When your identity is anchored in clarity, purpose, and personal standards, money amplifies who you are. It does not change you. And when you understand this at a deep psychological level, you stop giving money the kind of power it was never meant to have. Most people believe that if they could just make more, everything about their life would improve automatically. They think money will fix the insecurities, heal the wounds, erase the doubts, elevate their confidence, and rewrite the way they feel about themselves. But money doesn't rewrite identity. It reveals it. It takes the patterns you already live with and turns up the volume. If you're generous, money makes you more generous. If you're fearful, money makes you more fearful. If you're irresponsible, money amplifies that irresponsibility. It's not the money that transforms people. It's the identity behind the money that shapes how it flows, how it's used, and what it creates. People often say, if I had more money, I'd be more disciplined, more focused, more strategic. But that's not how life works. Discipline comes from who you decide to be, not from what's in your account. Focus comes from clarity, not currency. Money does not give you a new identity. It reflects the identity you already operate from. That's why you see people who win massive fortunes and lose them just as quickly. The windfall didn't elevate them. It exposed the lack of structure, belief, and emotional mastery they had inside. And on the other hand, you see people who start with very little and build extraordinary lives because their internal identity, resourceful, committed, resilient, was already wealthy long before their finances caught up. The moment you realize that money is a magnifier, you understand that the real work is not chasing more of it, but strengthening the person you are becoming. If your identity operates from scarcity, you will handle money from fear. You will cling to it, hide from opportunities, hesitate to invest, and constantly feel like it's never enough. Even with more money, the fear doesn't go away. It just grows in proportion. But when your identity operates from abundance, money flows differently. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You invest where others panic. You trust your ability to create, rebuild, and rise. You don't see money as security. You see yourself as the source of security. Money has no moral quality on its own. It is neutral energy. It takes on the character of whoever holds it. Put it in the hands of someone with vision and purpose, and it becomes a tool for growth, contribution, and expansion. Put it in the hands of someone controlled by fear or ego, and it becomes fuel for self-destruction or stagnation. This is why the internal world must be developed before the external world can be sustained. Identity is the driver. Money is the passenger. When you reverse that equation, you lose control of your direction. People often ask why financial success doesn't always bring happiness. It's because happiness is not generated by money. It's generated by alignment. Alignment between your values, your actions, and your identity. Money can buy comfort, but it cannot buy fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from living as the person you're meant to be. And if your identity is uncertain, conflicted, or fragile, more money won't heal that fracture. In fact, it may widen it. When you amplify an insecure identity with more resources, you amplify the anxiety and the pressure that comes with trying to maintain an image instead of building a self. On the other hand, when you strengthen your identity first, money becomes a tool for expression. If you are grateful, money gives you more to appreciate. If you are committed to growth, money gives you access to greater experiences that expand your mind. If you are driven by contribution, money becomes a vehicle to impact lives at a larger scale. The external rewards multiply the internal qualities, and the internal qualities guide the external rewards. This is how people build legacies instead of just incomes. This is also why the journey matters just as much as the result. The process of becoming someone disciplined, courageous, creative, and resilient is what prepares you to handle greater responsibility when the financial rewards arrive. Without that internal evolution, money becomes overwhelming instead of empowering. Think of it like giving someone a high-performance sports car before they've learned how to drive. The power isn't the gift. It becomes a danger because they lack the identity, the skills, and the emotional control to operate it. Money works exactly the same way. It amplifies competence if you have it. It amplifies chaos if you don't. So the question becomes not how do I get more money, but who do I need to become so that money amplifies my best qualities instead of my worst? When you shift the question, you shift the direction of your life. You stop chasing and start building. You stop waiting and start becoming. You stop assigning money the responsibility to give you confidence, and you begin cultivating confidence before the money arrives. Because when confidence is built internally, no financial setback can take it from you. But when confidence is borrowed from money, it disappears the moment money does. This doesn't mean money isn't important. It means money is powerful. And power in the wrong hands becomes destructive. But power in the right hands becomes transformative. You want money to amplify courage, not fear. Strength, not insecurity. Generosity, not ego. Purpose, not chaos. And that starts with identity. The stronger your identity becomes, the more clearly you see money as a tool instead of a definition. You stop asking it to make you feel worthy and start using it to expand the life you are building from the inside out. The greatest mistake people make is believing that money will create the person they wish they were. But identity drives destiny. If you don't change who you are, money will not change your outcomes. It will just change the scale of them. If you're scattered, you'll be scattered with more resources. If you're focused, the resources will amplify that focus. If you're empowered, money will magnify your ability to create, contribute, and elevate. When you understand this, you stop outsourcing your power to something external and reclaim it as something internal, something you can build, strengthen, and shape regardless of your current circumstances. When you work on your identity, your beliefs, your standards, your mindset, your emotional mastery, everything around you begins to shift. You show up differently. You make decisions differently. You see yourself differently. And when who you are expands, what you attract expands with it. Money becomes a reflection of the value you bring, not a substitute for the value you lack. And once you live from that truth, you no longer fear money, chase money, or depend on money. You simply use it as the amplifier it is, powered by the strength of who you've become.